And we're back.
Lulav never left.
And we're back. We never left. Shteig da. The Levim never left, says Zigriya Zalman.
Well, that's what the Torah says. You just repeat it.
So I'll say what PASHUT. Okay. No, so it's okay. No, but we are back. Wartime morning Seder Shteig number 7. I have a tuned ukulele, guitar. Oh, and we have Zalman. Oh, here we have. So we have Zalman's Gemara, and we have David Cable's giant Gemara art scroll, and then we have regular, real Vilna.
Oh, it's very strong.
I want to have this stuff stick of Zalman. Oh, it's only Exubis though. The Chulin art scroll. Zalman, here you go. Take a look at the English. Everyone at the right time. They say when you're doing Chal Shabbos, so it should be done by the Gedolim of the ear. The big rabbis from Chal Shabbos know that in this case it's mutter to be Chal Shabbos. So I give Zalman the art scroll. They didn't know that in this case it's mutter. It's mutter. No, lechatchila for Zalman to use art scroll. All right. So Zot the Heilige Gemara Chulin Dav Gimel Amud Aleph Abaye Omar Hachi Kitani. Here's what the Mishnah says. Here, check it out. We have a Gemara. Okay. So Abaye Amar Hachi Kitani. Abaye says this is what it says. Hakol Shochtin V'afilu Kusi. Everyone can shecht, and even Ethiopian. Now we have to think about these sugyas. The word kusi comes from kush. We know the taf and the shin are interchangeable. So we have these gemaras, right? We went out. My dad picked up these 4 gemaras. And we got a Shivas Gula Shal stamp with the base of Mikta, with like the picture of Yerushalayim, Hashem, Aretz, Umaro. So I wanted to stamp these Gemaz and say thank you to our new sponsor, the Terry and Andrew Tzedakah Foundation. Or what now? We might have to work on a name. Maybe they have a name. But that's good. Terry and Andrew Foundation.
It's supposed to be guided about it because the menorah has steps. The Zech has a ramp.
So you're saying?
No, with Inyana Ruchnias, you should have gaiva. You should be proud.
Well, listen, I'm sure our parents are proud, and that's really what the name should be, is the Terry and Andrew Herenstein, proud of their son. Nachas from the kinder, helping out, and they got us these, and the Mirta Hashem, the Abish will give us Siyat Dishmaya. Yeah, the Abish will give us Siyat Dishmaya also for the morning Seder, for the breakfast, and all things going forward. We're going to figure it out together, and the Abishter will give us Siyata Dishmaya. So we have a bunch of Gemaras out here. Esther, you could just use that one. And like, the Abishter will give us Siyata Dishmaya. Okay, if you want to look inside, we're on Daf Gimel Amud Aleph. Abaye Amar Hachi Kitani. Abaye says this is what it says in the Mishnah. Hakol Shochtin V'afilu Kusi. What's the chiddush? When the Mishnah says that Hakol Shochtin, that everyone
6 lines down from the top of the page.
that everyone gets to do shchita, we know the Mishnah is very terse, very concise. And so if Rabbi Yehuda Nasi wrote Hakol Shochtin, so what's the Chiddush? What is it coming to include? We saw a shita of Rav Ashi, that Hakol Shochtin, the Chatchila is coming to include, and the Evet is coming to include. And we saw a shita of Rabba Bar Ula, that it's coming to include Tamei B'chulin. By Rav Ashi, really we were just like setting up the Mishnah, so I don't even know if that's like a separate opinion, but we have that the Chiddush is Tamei B'chulin by Rabba Bar Ula. And we were just discussing, like, wait, what does it mean, L'chatchila, b'di Evet? Is it anyone can shech? Well, then if anyone can shech, then why at the end are they saying, well, then, and kulan sheshachtu, anyone who shechted, v'achir and ronas, and someone else has to watch over them? A lot of questions and sfeikos in this Mishnah. Abaye is throwing his hat into the ring. Rabbi Bar Ula said to include a tamei person, that even he can shecht. And the b'di'evet is that he can shecht him mukdashin. And now we have with korbanos. It was a long knife, remember? And he says, I'm sure I didn't touch it. He said, oh, or he's tamei sheretz. Okay. Abaye says, this is what the Mishnah is saying. Hachi kitani, hakol shochtin, ve'afilu kusi. Everyone is shteig, and even a kusi, even an Ethiopian. Oh, hello, Gingy the Coot. How are ya? Oh, Shalom Aleichem, Zef Franco. Shalom Aleichem, Rafi Magen. Oh, you got the chulin? Over here. God,
And he's saying a filo kuti because they're like the bottom of the barrel, even the bottom of the barrel.
So it's actually not what the Australian guy who thinks he's allowed to be racist because he didn't grow up in America.
Right.
No, I'm just joking.
We killed most of ours. We got rid of the problem.
David Cable over here. David Kiggity Cable from the old school Australians. Shteig and da. So, despite what he might have thought or might have said even as a joke, the Kusim actually have a higher standard than just a Stam Goy, Stam non-Jew, a Stam Umos HaOlam. They're considered, and we have to understand exactly why they have this different consideration. They might have they have some sort of conversion. They may have said Gary Arayos, but that could have been talking about Baitusim. So we're going to hopefully learn about all the different types of races, and you can be more nuanced. I'm just kidding. We know David Cable is not racist. I was just joking around with him. But we'll be more nuanced in our understanding of different races, and it's because it's Torah, and it's to understand. And but it's not about race, even though it's talking about Kusim, and it seems to be from Ethiopian, but it could be a category. We have to see the sugya. By the way, just one thing that I should mention: when we're talking about Ethiopia, we think about Shlomo's wife, right? That he married the Queen of Sheba. He married the Queen of Sheba, and she went back to Ethiopia, and so. Interesting.
Menelik.
What?
Menelik.
Menelik, her name.
The son's name is Menelik.
Oh, we gotta hope that groom turns in to become. So it's huge sugyas. Even Bisman Hazeh, you're saying there are people who hail a connection to the Malcha, to the Shlomo's wife, which may or may not have anything to do with this halachic stance of a kusi. But medvar mamurim. When can this kusi shecht? Says the Gemara. Kisha Yisrael omeid al gabav. When the Israel is standing on the backs or watching them. Aval Yosef v'nechnas, and so we see Yosef v'nechnas brought into the sugya of kashrus, of hashgachas, right? Zikir Zalman is surely an expert in dealing with mashgichim, right? I'm sure you've seen him a lot.
I see them, I work with them, I teach them, I show them that it's beyond the book, it's a hands-on experience.
Beyond the book, hands-on experience. So now we're zoche to learn the book and have the hands-on experience level also, which is a huge schos. So thank you so much.
And it's also different in one's home than it is in a mass production situation.
Right. Totally. So because Yisrael omeid al gabav, right? But if it's nichnas v'yotze, if there's a mashgiach that's always there, Yisrael omeid al gabav, an Israelite standing and watching, so then the kusi can shecht. But if there's someone coming in and out, which is a mashgiach like Rabbanut, maybe even Rabbanut Mahadran, I don't know, we got to see. And now we're getting into the sugyas, now we can really learn the sugyas that we all learn. First thing when we come to Israel is about the different hashgachas. Now we can really get into the sugya of like what's really going on in the kitchens. So nichnas v'yotzei lo yishro v'im shachat, he shouldn't shecht. And if he shechted, chotech kezayis basar v'nosein lo. He cuts a kezayis of meat and he gives to him. Achlo. Yo, is Shlomo coming today? Achlo mutter le'echol mishchitaso. Lo achlo aser le'echol mishchitaso. If he ate it, it's mutter to eat from his shchita. If he didn't eat it, it's aser to eat from his shchita. So wait a second. We don't trust if this kusi did the right. We don't trust if the kusi did the right shchita, but we'll be somech on him whether he or not eats.
Who eats?
The kusi, the chayra. Yeah, so the chayra, there's a din of like kashrus by the kusi. By the kusi.
If the kusi eats his own shchita, then we can.
But that's what the chayra, the Gemara says before we see Rashi, right? I mean, let's see where the Gemara goes with this. It sounds like wild. Like what? The kusi keeps. Is the kusi yed? The kusi keeps Tyra. You can also, by the way, if you prefer, look along on a phone with Safaria. Safaria is good, but Gimel Amid Aleph. Okay. That's okay. Also listening is good. Also good. V'im shachar, if you shechted chotech kezayis bazar v'nosei lo, achlo mutter lecho b'shchitaso, lo achlo aser lecho b'shchitaso, chut micher shotz v'katan. Not a cher, but except a cher shotz v'katan. So now David Cable's really going to have a field day talking about a cher shotz v'katan of a kusi. The Amar, the Afilu, the Eved Namilo, because even the Eved, it's not good. Shema Yeshu, maybe they will do something called Shehiyah, which we haven't gone into deep yet. Shehiyah. So we don't know exactly what it is yet. It's one of the things that makes a shechita not kosher, and it has something to do with waiting for too long when you shecht. It's not one fell swoop, but you paused or you waited for too long. Balking.
Not allowed.
Balking. Not allowed.
Invalid.
Exactly. So Shema Yisha, Shema Yidrasu. We say Yidrasu is when you push the knife to cut the simanim, to cut the different. No, you can't push. It has to be. So no balking, no pushing. Shema yachlidu. So I had thought until recently that yachlidu was something to do with the knife, that the knife became chalid or chalud, like rusty. But I saw some things that made me retreat from that stance and prefer to say I don't know what yachlidu is yet.
Probably mixing the blade.
Maybe. I don't think that I think that it's maybe like the type of the shrita, like barking, like pushing. There's something like yachlidu, but I got a blibe for now on what it is. The kulan sheshachtu, and all of them that they shacht. Ahaya. So which one in the Gemara is that talking about? In the Mishnah. That's talking about something in the Mishnah. And so what's it talking about? The kulan sheshachtu. Ahaya. Who's it going on? If you're going to tell me that it's saying that the chereshotu v'katan cannot do the shrita, or that they have to watch, they have to have someone watching over them. Allah kai v'im shachatu mibayle. We said that they can't, right? They can't shach. It shouldn't say the kulan shachatu. It should say v'im shachatu. Not if they. Right, we're saying that they shouldn't shecht. Yeah, and if they, that's what it should say. If they shechted, then and someone was watching, then it would be kosher. That's what it should say. Therefore, the Mishnah, the second part of the Mishnah, cannot be talking about chereshot v'katan. Ella, rather a kusi. It's talking about an Ethiopian. But Ella kusi, but you're going to tell me it's talking about an Ethiopian? Ha'amart ki Yisrael. Kishe Yisrael omed al gabav shachit afilu lechatchila. So, but you said by a kusi that even if Yisrael is watching, if there's someone watching him, then he can shech, then it would be even lechatchila. And then so it's a kasha on Abaye. Kasha. Remember the Rambam says niskashu. The Rambam in Chulin, in Perish HaMisnayis, he says, Niskasha Perusho Achach Me'agemara. It was hard. Here's our first kasha that we're seeing straight out. Kasha, Abaye's shita doesn't work to say that it's talking about the Ethiopian. Let's go deeper into what did he think? What was he talking about? Let's see Rashi. Zakt Rashi. Zakt Gemara Abaye Afilu Kusi. Zakt Rashi Afilu Kusi. Moser and lo behema lechatchila lishchod. You can give him an animal and you can say shechted. The mitzvah sheichzika bahi. It's a mitzvah that they were machzik. It's a mitzvah that they were machzik. They held it.
Held what?
Shrita. The kusim. They held shrita. And a mitzvah that they held. So it seems that maybe they didn't held. Thank you so much. Baruch Atah Machalam. Shekoni Yavrai. A mitzvah that they held, right? A mitzvah that the kusim held, they're very makpid on. You know? They didn't keep everything. But if they kept it, they were makpid. That's where the phrase comes from. Oh, starker than a kusi by shrita. I'm just kidding, I don't know if it's a phrase. I might have just made it up. But it could be a phrase, right? Like, oh, you see that here? Oh, he's starker than a kusi by shrita. You can give it to him the chatchila. He's makpid. But let's see if it comes to halacha that we're basketing. So it seems to be that, like, of course, what's the even question?
Jewish or not, right?
David Cable brings a very interesting distinction that I didn't even mention. Jewish. The Gemara doesn't even. The Gemara talk about. It's a good sugya. Listen, we're talking about the 12 tribes that are right here in the sugya with us, right? We have Eidos that the minhag is that women don't shecht from these Heilige 10 tribes. So now we're talking Jewish. Jewish is started getting called Jews after the 10 tribes were sent out. So our Kusi is Jewish. It would depend when the Kusis even came into the Sugya.
Oh, we just heard, like, if it's Shlomo's son from Sheba.
Oh, I didn't say it was. I just said it's interesting to think about any possible connections, but I definitely didn't say it was.
The Gemara, it's like 500 years later, right? Or even more, maybe 600 or 700 years later. So there could have been like a community already in Land Kuti, a Jewish community in Land Kuti for like 500 or 600 years before the Gemara was written.
Yeah.
Which is enough time to, have min hagim and
We definitely have to get
your
a
own thing.
we have to get a timeline of Kusim and the rest of the things that are going on. So hopefully we'll uncover this mystery of who even are these people, that we have only clues and theories. But Medvar Amurim, when can a Kusi do it? Oh, Aval, Zog Rashi, it's a Kusi, right? It's like Abaye Kusi. But when is it talking about? When the Israelis standing on watching them. Aval, if it's Yosef and Nechnas, like Rashi, Aval Yisrael, Yosef and Nechnas, Lo Yimsor, Lo Lishchot. Don't give it to a Kusi. So the phrase is, oh, that guy's about as stark as a Kusi with the Yisrael, Omed al Gaba, vis-a-vis Shchita.
But doesn't that answer our question? If it's talking about Israel, then obviously the Kush is not Israel, so he's not Jewish.
He's not Israel. Yeah, so he's not Jewish. He's not Jewish. He's not Israel. He's not even Israel. Not only is he not Jewish, but he's not even in Israel. So then what is this special din? But wait, so a regular idolater cannot do shchita, as we saw in the Mishnah Aleph, that we didn't get to in the Gemara yet, but we did see shchita's nachri, but here they say shchita's nachri. We have to see, are they talking about just an idolater? Is in the Vela. When it says shchita's nachri, later out of the Mishnah, we're not at it in the Gemara yet. But we have to see it because we're in the Sugi of Kusi. He's not Jew, he's not Israel, but is he Nachri? No. He has a mitzvah? Yeah, it's up in the air. So when Israel is Obed al-Gav, the Al-Gav, the Huchzak ba, la'atzmam, ein makpidin. Even though they're Huchzak to do it, but when they're shechting by themselves, they're not careful to do it perfectly. Im yachilu Yisrael nevelos. They don't care if the Israel, they know exactly how to do it, but they're not Israelite is going to eat kosher or not. They're not concerned. They're not makbid. The leizlahu lifnei iver litidin michshol, because they are not makbid on lifnei iver, on putting a stumbling block before a blind person. They're not makbid on livnei iver lo tidin michshol. Ela ke mashmo shelo yidin elo. Could this be that this is the tzidukim? They're only makbid on livnei iver vis-a-vis not putting a stumbling block in front of a blind person, mamish. Mamish. But only if you're putting him in to stumble him, and it's like,
Amazon stumbling blocks.
And it's like, so are these like are the Kusim people that were makbid on Torah shebichsav? But if they were, then all of Shchita, which is just oral Torah, which is just Torah Shabbat Peh, why are they makbid? Like, why do they know all of the specifics of Shchita if they don't care about the way that Chazal explain Lifnei Iver being in general? Don't trick someone. Don't put stumbling blocks in front of people.
I swear shcheita is already in the Torah.
Well, it says in the Torah, it says, "V'zavachta v'vikarecha v'mitzonecha," in Re'eh Yud Beis Chaf Aleph. No, it's all good, bro. Everything at the right time. Chaf Beis, we said Yud Beis Chaf Aleph. It's good because I'm excited to get a tab in on this pasuk. It's about time. Yud Beis Chaf Aleph. We've been talking about it. We saw it inside once. It's even underlined, but I didn't get a tab in that day. So the pasuk says, "Ki yarchiv Hashem Elokecha es gvulecha." When kasher diber Hashem Elokecha, kasher diber lo, right? So, and when you're far away from the Beis Hamikdash, we learn that you can't do shteig in the Beis Hamikdash. You can't shecht chulin, mundane, in the Beis Hamikdash. Okay. So what do? You say, I want meat. Why? Because I'm hungry for meat. My desire is to eat meat. Everything you want, if you want meat, eat. When you're far away from the so we learn that when you're not in Beis Hamikdash, not in Yerushalayim, you can shecht from the bakar and from the tzon, and you can eat it if you're hungry for meat. Like you and you eat in your gates as much as you want. This is sharecha, not shari Yerushalayim in the Beis Hamikdash. It's very interesting. Could you shecht in the old city? I mean, it has a din of mikdash that you take lulav del raisa there all 7 days. But it has a din of Medina, of outside the Mikdash by shchita, or maybe, in fact, there is no shchita done in the old city. We got to ask Bernaya Sullivan, the Heilige Rav, who is in the old city. Is there even shchita done there, or is everything that's done in the old city like together, or is that only in the Azara Mamish, Mikdash itself? Okay. Anyways, we see from here mitzvah to eat. We see from here, Rabbi, take this stark Gemara with the Yeshiva Gula Shaul stamp. It's a little broken. If you want, you can take that one.
Can I have a stamp? I think I want a stamp.
You want a stamp?
I want a stamp.
Oh wow!
People volunteer to get vaccines.
No.
We're taught in the Torah that there is shchita. So it's like, okay, how do we do it? Someone showed them how to do it, but they don't have all the oral Torah around it.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, so they saw that there's shchita.
These kutis here are basically how they would treat the kutis when we tried to bring them back. It's like, okay, you guys are kind of connected to your...
Whoa, you're confusing the kusim in the Gemara.
With the Ethiopians.
Oh, you're saying Ethiopians.
Yeah, like the
Specific.
way we kind of related to the Ethiopians when we brought them back. It's a little sound.
Black people.
No.
I'm just kidding. Okay.
But the Yemenites we treated very differently, right?
Horribly,
No, but we
the
treated
Zionists
them-
treated them.
We trusted
I don't know, they sterilized and they cut their pants off.
No, but we trusted their...
Well, that's because they have a Masorah of being from Yisrael. They're from the Yemenites. L'chaira were from. They had Gemara. They had Binyan Sheni. When we're talking about the 10 tribes, we're talking about they didn't have Binyan Sheni and didn't have Gemara.
They did have Purim.
Didn't have Purim.
No, you said they did.
Are they, the Kutis had
The
Purim?
10 tribes have supposedly heard about the Purim story because it was told about Kush.
Right.
27 languages.
So they're like,
And
oh, our
they
Yid.
had Hadin. And that's when people went like, all right, there's an 8th paragraph, there's like a yeshiva, a halacha, and you see places like Bukhara, which is on the Silk Road. Their last name Shimonov, Rubinov, Benjamin. These guys were from the tribes, far out into the exile, but they're like, wait, they wrote down the Mishnah? We're in.
Nice.
Moccasin.
And listen, these guys are one of the first shiurim, the 10 tribes. They contributed very importantly to the sugya and told us that they have a minhag, ancient minhag, and nashim don't shecht. Oh, mutar l'chatchila, yes. But ancient minhag for 10 tribes. And so hopefully in this chus of learning this, we'll be zoche to be able to learn with our brothers from the 10 tribes and bring them into the base medrash and come and start shagging the sugya with them. Should be a good catalyst enzyme to this thing that we've been trying to do and speaking about for years and years. Before I even met Rabbi Harry, he's been hard at work trying to bring our brothers in, and now we get to bring them into the base medrash out of nowhere. Eldad Hadani, Eldad ben Machli, in the Heilige Mordechai. Too. Okay, so Zog, Rashi, Veiter. So, but if he ate it, right? That's so crazy. If he ate it, Achlo Mutter Lecho, Deha La'atzmo Zahir. He's still careful for himself to eat a kosher shchita, and kosher according to all the dinim that we're going to spend the next who knows how many years in Mir Hashem should give us Yad studying these laws together. And the Kusi knows all of these laws, and he's makbid for himself, but he's not makbid for the Yisrael, because he says, oh yeah, when it says lo tidin michshol, okay, fine, I won't put any stumbling blocks in front of a blind person, but I'll still do a bad job doing the shchita if it's just going to be eaten by the Yisrael. I know how to do it, but I'm not going to do a good job for the Yisrael. Whew. Yeah, it's a head scratcher. But if they ate it, it's mutter to eat from the shchita. But this is a buy-in. We're going to say by a kasha. If he didn't eat it, it's usher to eat from the shchita, except for chereshot to the katan. Da'afilu be the eved nami lo. So Rashi, the eved kayim minan, because we're dealing with them on the eved, the chereshot to the katan, chutz mi them, right? Hakol shot to the shchita san kishera, and so it's implying that chereshot v'katan even b'di eved is not kosher. Says Rashi, the eved kayaminan, and why not shema yishu? Zalman. Finally, we're going to get the pshat of what exactly is shehiyah. I would always say we don't know exactly what it is. We'll get to it. So something about waiting. Let's see what Rashi says.
To get to the sugi of waiting.
We're being shown. We're waiting to get to the sugi of waiting. Let's see what the Heilige Rashi says. L'kama mifaresh. We'll explain it later. Rashi also says we'll get you. We'll get to it. Don't worry.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Rashi says l'kama mifaresh. Amai nakat lashon asid. They're going to explain later why they took the lashon asid. Welcome. Your review. Great to have you. Okay. The kaman mefaresh amai nakat lashon asid. Later they will explain why he chooses a lashon of in the future. Shema Yishu. Maybe he'll wait in the shchita. He'll balk. Zalman says balk. He won't go one fell swoop. He'll balk. But Rashi says, I have another question. Why does it say maybe he will? Why does it talk about in the future? Right? Why does it say maybe he will? Say maybe he did. So Rashi is just telling us in the future, we will get to that question. So we said, so then what is it talking about? If kulan sheshachtu, when it says kulan sheshachtu, ahaya, on which one is it? Ilay ma'acheresh shotu v'katan. If you're going to say it's talking about a cheresh, a deaf person, a shota, a mentally impaired, handicapped person, but we have to see exactly on what level is he retarded. Retarded person, or katan, or youngster. Alakai is saying that's what kulan sheshachatu is talking about. He's saying he's talking about cheresh shota v'katan. The im shachatu, me by like, you would have to tell me if they shechted, not and all of them that shechted. Ella akuzi, rather maybe no, it's talking, the chiddush is, it's talking about an Ethiopian. It's going on the kusi. Ha'amart kishe Yisrael omed al gabav. We said, when the Yisrael is shachit, afilu lechatchila, he can shecht even lechatchila, answers the Gemara, kasha, boom. Kasha and Abaye, trying to say that the chiddush of the Mishnah is talking about an Ethiopian. Talking about a kusi, which we still have to get their level clear. He says, but here they're saying that if other people are watching them, he's talking about if they shechted b'di'evet. So where it says kasha. Okay. Now, isn't that interesting, guys? That there's nothing really to go on this sugya. Except we have these really fancy Gemaras. But still, I mean, a taste business, right? Yeah, Rivka, which one? So now, we're going to see the rush. We're going to see the riff. And we're going to see that the riff does not probably at all bring Abaye. It seems to be kasha nidcha from halacha in the first place. But we're going to rip through a riff, and even though it might do what sometimes the kids these days call spoilers, we don't hold of such a thing in Gemara because we have chazah. It's a spoiler for the Shiba entertainment. It's only good the first time you watch it. Oh, what's it going to do? Oh, I saw what it's going to do. Oh, not such a great story usually. But here, every step along the way is gishmak, and we love chazah, and so there's no such content with spoilers. Can't spoil it. Spoiled? I don't think so. Zog to the Rev. And we saw the Rev. Hakol shochtem b'shchitas and gesher achutz micher shotu v'katan. Shema yikalkalu b'shchitasan. Maybe they will, and by the way, anyone who wants to see the Riv can pull it up on Safaria. Safaria, with a big schuz. You can put up the Riv on Safaria on the Makom. The Kulan shechtu, and everyone who shechted, and Acher and Ro and Osan, others are seeing them. Shritazan keshera, the Shrita is keshera. Now, we saw that the Riv continues into the next Gemara. But it's not until Yud Gimel, and, right?
He's like Asher? Is that the one with Asher?
No, that's Rabbeinu Asher. No, it's the Riv. The Rabbeinu Asher is afterwards. We're going to see the Rosh Hashanah Hashem, but here's the Riv. So the Riv goes on to the next part of the Mishnah, Shritas Oved Kochavim. In the Girsa, in the Mishnah, it says Shritas Nachri, right? And we said, we got to see, is there some like censoring going on over here? See that shteig, Shritas Nachri? So the crew at Hig. So in the Mishnah, it says Shritas Nachri. In the Riv, it says Shritas Ha'oved Kochavim, the idolater, right? And it's not kosher. And so we're asking from the Kusi. You just told me that the shrita of a non-Jew is nevela, and it's v'talif b'masa, hashochet b'layla, v'chein b'suma, at night, and a blind person just shachas shrita so keshera. Shrita is kosher. Shochet b'Shabbos v'yom Yom Kippur, ava bish mischayev b'nafsho, even though he was mischayev in his nefesh, shrita so keshera, shrita was kosher. Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Shmuel, Kol tavach she'ena yodeh hilcho shchita, asur lecho mishchitaso. Every tevach, every shechter It doesn't know hilchos shchita. Azid di'ibrim shchita. The sugya and daf tes. We're like, wait one tick over here. We're not up to daf tes yet, and we appreciate the a little bit spoilers about Eretz Chazara, pre-Chazara. Hechsher mitzvah of Chazara is on the Mishnah, but the Rif doesn't mention this at all. So that means that the Rush probably doesn't mention it either. So do we just say to the Kusi Sugya, see you when I see you, because I doubt that we're done with you, and we'll get to it when we get to it? Or should we just see the beginning of the Rush?
So it's just like a labeling issue. It's a censorship.
Well, censorship issue by Nachri and Akum. It doesn't change it by Kusi. Okay, there is a Rush here. It's going to go back to a sugya that we've seen earlier. It's possible that we could see a little Rush here and go back to a sugya, or should we see the shita of Rava? Abaye, by the way, kicked out of halacha. That's why no one talks about it, the Kusi here. So we're not going to either. We're going to go back there. Amar Rava, says Rava, Yotzev nichnas lechatchila lo. Wait a second, you're telling me that we're learning about types of mashgiachs, you know? Okay. We have the mashgiach that is always watching. Can I have a water, please? Yes, please. We have the mashgiach that he's always... Yeah, I got it. We have the mashgiach that he's always watching. Thanks. Rivka, are you thirsty? Here, I'll just keep it close, just in case. So we have the mashgiach is always watching. And we have the mashgiach who comes and goes, right? It's called nichnas v'yotzei. So Rava says, wait a second, nichnas v'yotzei lechatchila, no. V'hatnan, but doesn't it say in a Mishnah, hameniach ovei kochavim b'chanuso, someone who leaves an idolater in his chanus, the Israel Yotzev and goes, comes in here, he checks, so he's going to come, he doesn't know exactly when he's going to come in, oh, what's that over there? Bit in the van. So he's like, mutter.
Wow.
Mutter.
Should answer himself.
Yotzev and Nechnas, mutter. Ovi. Mutter. Haza mikidani meniach. Ha-meniach. Blai lechatchila. It says, ha-meniach. He who left him there, which implies b'di'eved. As the Gemara who says meniach, it says ha-meniach kitani, b'di'eved. Ella mehacha. Rather, no, well, I'll prove it to you from here. That Yotzev v'nichnas is l'chatchila. Yotzev v'nichnas level of shchita is l'chatchila. I'll show you.
Sorry, can I just
Yeah, please.
clarify? Why would hameniach imply b'di'eved that it's mutter?
Because it says mutter. It says hameniach. If you left someone who leaves an idolater in his store, and Israel is Yotzev and Nechnas, Israel is coming and going, it's mutter. So Rava wanted to prove him here that mutter lechatchila to have Yotzev and Nechnas. Says the Gemara, no, it doesn't say a lashon of lechatchila. It doesn't say meniach that a person could leave an idolater there. In the case right over here of this Mishnah that we actually saw together on Daf Samich Tes in Avodah Zarah, Samich Tes Amud Aleph.
So over there it says hameniach. Over here it doesn't say.
No. This is from there. There it's quote from there. The Gemara. So Rava wants to say, I'll show you lechatchila. You can have someone who comes in and out. You can leave an idolater in your store, lechatchila, and have a guy coming in and out, Israel, and making sure. Says the Gemara to Rava, wait a second, no. Because it says, hameniach, implying if someone leaves it, and then Israel's coming in and coming back, it's kosher. But it doesn't say lechatchila, best case scenario, you can intentionally, meniach, leave someone there, do this. The Gemara is not giving us telling what you do, saying Hameniach. In a case where a person did that,
Right.
if there was a yid coming and going, we can assume that he's worried. Oh, but the coming to lose my job will be Tony.
We remember that from the Zara. The guy who who's the mashkiach basically of the wine, where the wine cellar is. So he has to protect that wine from being touched, mishandled by with kafabim. So he can leave because the person, there's an assumption there that the wine, it's not, just because the mashkiach leaves, it doesn't mean that the wine inside is immediately like
Tame,
tame, because, or in any situation.
not kosher.
Right, because the person who's in the wine cellar is going to assume Mishkiach is going to come back at any second. So they're going to just be like sort of
I'm not
careful
gonna.
at any moment.
So the Rebbetzin very correctly, two shtels from Rosh Hashanah, we learned about it. I mean, from Avodah Zarah, we learned about it at Samich Tes Amud Aleph. Samich Tes Amud Aleph Meseches Avodah Zarah. Is it in the same chulin?
Where we going?
Oh no, I was just gonna see.
Nachos?
No, Avodah Zarah.
Yeah, we have
Samich Tes Amud Aleph. If you're gonna put it on your phone, also Samich Tes Amud Aleph. And so we saw that Gemara together, Baruch Hashem, and it says Nichnas Biyoti, but it says Hameniach. If you leave it, I want you to have your Gemara also.
I love Safari.
Okay, good, great. Hameniach. If you leave it in the Chanut and the Yisrael is Yotze V'Nichnas. So it says Hameniach if you left it. Stem?
What would it have said in that other Gemara if it was trying to
Say
tell us
lechatchila?
lechatchila?
Meniach.
The hay is the difference.
Yes.
Wow.
And not only that, that's exactly what the Gemara says, right? Mi kitani meniach, hameniach kitani. Who says meniach? That would be lechatchila. Hameniach, b'di'evet, hameniach kitani, di'evet.
Gonna make the whole difference.
No, the hay. The hay. And we know that hay, I mean, we're learning Nigla over here, Nigla
They
Rebbe.
said the wrong thing back and then they quoted it wrong.
He
Hameniach.
like took a drink of his water. He's like,
Hameniach.
It's gonna be 1,000 books written about that conversation.
You gotta know the hay. And so, also we gotta think, hay, which hay is it? Is it the hay, the first hay or the last hay in Shem Hashem? But obviously I'm a Nigla Rebbe, so that's all I'm gonna say on the matter. Hameniach Gitari Di'evet Ella Me'acha. Rather, Rava says you're right. I can't prove from there. From that Divi Evet, B'di'evet Gemara, from this L'chatchila Gemara in Avodah Zarah, or at least Rava thinks. Ein Hashomer Tzarech Lihiyos Yoshev Umeshamer. So the guard doesn't have to be sitting and watching. Ella Apal Pi Sheyotzev V'nichnas Mutter. So Ella, even if he goes and he comes back, it's mutter. Let's see, mutter. Okay. Ella's like, okay, fine. I can't prove to you that Yotze v'nichnas is kosher l'chatchila. I'll try with two Gemaras, but I can't prove it to you. Let's see. We saw Rashi in his first proof. We didn't see Rashi in either of his proofs. Amarava v'heichad Yisrael Yotze v'nichnas lo yimsor l'kuzi l'chatchila b'tmeah. Wait, you can't give it to a kuzi l'chatchila if you have a Yotze v'nichnas, and when we see b'tmeah in the Gemara, it's a question mark. A tmeah, yeah, a wonderment. Oh, bismillah, Harry says.
I've heard it.
Listen.
I've heard 3 or 4 different ways that how the guys throw it around the pot.
Yeah, bismillah. Bismillah. The way that I was the color for my rebbeim is b'tmeah.
Yeah.
But b'tmeah, because it's with a tmeah.
Don't catch me saying Bishlama.
Bishlama, that's already gets into, mutter and asher to say Bishlema versus Bishlama. But bismillah, really, you gotta see. how Jastrow, if Jastrow even says it. But the word here is, there's a tema. The word is tema, bitamia, right? Okay. It's wild. It's not mutter lechatchila v'hatanan. But don't we have that Gemara that you guys saw? But Barak Basar, Mezechus of Vodazara, last Barak of Vodazara. Did anyone look it up? Did we look it up? We have that last Gemara in Avodah Zarah, Samich Tes, right? We have that last Gemara in Avodah Zarah, the last parak. It says, the Avo b'di Yisrael Yotzev v'nichnas mutter. Even though Yisrael is not mutter, Alma, Mistabi Oved Goravim, the Oved Goravim is unsure. Exactly like Rivka said, Dilma Az Israel. Maybe the Israelite's going to come at that second, V'lo Naga, and he doesn't touch. We're talking about the wine.
Wow.
Hachanami here also, Mistafi Ashta Asi V'chazi. Maybe he's worried that he's going to come and see that he's not taking the Shechita very seriously. So we had two Gemaras in. We had Samich Tes. Over Golavim Shaya Mavid as Yisrael Kadiyah Makom Avir Kadiyah B'Cheskas Shteig. Aminiach Yeni Pikaron B'Spina. Over Kavadia Nichnas Medina. Okay, big Gemara over here. Big Mishnah over here in Avodah Zarah. So asks the Gemara, Mi Kitani Meiniach. Oh, really? You're telling me that Mishnah proves lechatchilu? Says miniach adam ovei bechanuso. This is a green light Rashi. Who's saying miniach adam ovei bechanuso? You can do one continuous underline to imply to yourself that this Rashi we read right through the Gemara, right through the dot. Who says that we leave a person, that a person can leave an idolater in his chanus, the Yosef and Nichnas, and leave and come to mashma lechatchila? It implies lechatchila, right? What does it say? Hameniach. If someone did it in such a case, hameniach kitani v'diavad elamehacha. Rather, from here, different Gemara in Avodah Zarah daf samich aleph amid aleph. Ina shomer yotzei. Well, the first one was a Mishnah, right? In a shomer, tzarech lihiyos yoshev u'mishamer. He doesn't have to be sitting and watching. Ela ava bishi yotev v'nechnas. Even if he's coming and going, those are the two options: sitting and guarding, watching, coming and going. It's mutter. In a shomer, as a yayin, watching the wine, says Rashi. Tzarech sheyeh yoshev u'mishamer v'chulei. So reisha aseva lo tikshi lo zo avzo kitani. Kilayim says Rashi, lo with the eved, dafka ela afil lechatchila. That it's not only when it say that you have to have the shomer watching. Go to Samech Aleph Amud Aleph here. It's not only that you have to have the shomer watching. Only b'di'evad specifically, ela rather afilu lechatchila. Rava wants to say that it's lechatchila to have the Yotzev v'Nichnas from that Gemara in Avodah Zarah. We see that the shomer doesn't have to be sitting and watching. All he has to be is coming and going, and his mutter. Rava wants to say,
But not on a fixed schedule.
l'chora, not on a fixed schedule. Ve'ena shomer tzarich liyos yoshev u'mishamer abba bishu yotzev v'nichnas mutter. Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar omer rishus ovdei kochavim achazi. It's in the Mishnah over there. The rishus ovdei kochavim is one, but it says mutter. The mirtat le ovdei kochavim. He's afraid, says Rashi over there in the Avodah Zarah. V'lo naga be'echa de'amar dilma chazuli. Maybe he's watching me, right? Maybe he's watching to see. Hanach Yisrael de'avri b'rishus harabim, or maybe some of the yid b'rishus harabim. He's going to tell umafsidena, and he's not going to buy it from me. I'm going to lose my money, lose my job. V'avilu ein mevacheach b'chosam, even in miftach b'chosam, even if it's not like sealed, shari is permitted. V'hu she'ein lo klum al osoyayin. If you go into Kazav lo his kabaldim mimcha kedarina. Okay, and there's specific thing in the laws over there of the deal with the yid and the nachri. But Rava breaks this point, and he says that's a good enough question to slug up Abaye. He says lechatchila yotzev v'nechnas is mutter. We have to see lehalacha how we come out. Ela amar Rava, rather Rava says hachi ketani. Here is what it teaches in our Mishnah. Hakol shochten, everyone can shecht, ve'afilu kusi. I had a feeling we weren't going to see the end of that kusi. And even a kusi. V'medvar mamurim, when are these words spoken? Kishe Yisrael yotzi v'nichnas. When Yisrael goes and comes. Aval ba b'matzo sheshachat. But if he comes and he found that he shechted, aval ba umatzo sheshachat. But he came and he found that you shechted. Choteich kizayis bazar. You cut a little bit of meat, which wait a second. Choteich kizayis we saw that in the last sugya, and now that you mentioned it, I didn't get shot in the last sugya either. What do you mean, chotech kizayis bazar? You cut a little bit of meat, the no saying low, and you give it to him. Oh yeah, we did get shot. See if he eats it or not. Oh chlo, if the kusi eats it, mutter lechol mishchita. So you're allowed to eat from mishchita. Lo achlo. If the kusi didn't eat it, other lechol mishchita. So it's other eat from mishchita. Chud micher shot v'katan, but not the cheresh shota v'katan, not the chashu of the kusi. David Cable wants me to do an impression of the shota kusi, but I'm not going to do it. I'll do it for David Cable.
You want to do some blackface?
No, I'm never do blackface. Who am I, Justin Trudeau?
But we would really eat of day kochavim and be like the shchita and he ate all
I don't know if kochavim.
Yeah, well,
A kusi.
they wanted to replace of day kochavim with kushi. Wasn't that the Ritz shtick?
No.
Censorship
Please,
thing?
no. Please listen carefully. The Mishnah, later on in the Mishnah, it mentions shchitas nachri is an avela. When the Rif brings it in the Mishnah, he says shchitas ovdei kochavim. Right? This is a sugya that's going to come up on Daf Yud Gimel when the Gemara brings the Mishnah talking about the shchita of an idolater. No one changes the girsa of kusi. The kusi is a kusi, and we're still not 100% sure what it is. But if he eats the shchita that he shechted for himself, where it's mutter for Yisrael to eat the shchita. He's not an idolater. He's not a Yisrael. He's not a Jew.
And he's not free.
But you see, to be not a Nachri also.
But how are there different standards of kosher slaughter regardless of who's eating it?
Slaves.
It seems that there is a certain, we are trying to identify what is the status of shchita by a kusi here. Because it seems that there could be a different status, that they're not on the level of oved kochavim, of an idolater, and they're not on the level of shota katan and...
Definitely not a level of cher shota v'katan.
So we're trying to say, like, Dafka, where are they fitting in, and how much can they be trusted in terms of halacha? It seems like, from the implication of what we just read, that the kusi is obligated himself to eat kosher shchita. Otherwise, why would it say why would it say give him a little to eat? Because if he eats it, it's mutter. Oh, why? Why is it mutter for us to eat it if he eats? It must be that he holds himself to a certain standard of shchita.
That's a great nekuda shlegs of the kusi, is the kusi himself chayav? Where is this chayav coming from? A chayav, what is he creating the chayav for himself? What? So if a yid is going to say, I'm going to be machmir, and I'm going to eat altaras kachim, my chul and altaras kachim, is chumrah is nothing, it's a chumrah for you, but there's no implication on halacha for tameh or anything like that. But if the kusi here wants to be machmir, so it changes the halacha for him, it allows him to be chayav, and he's chayav. I don't know if he is chayav. So the shlik says, well, he holds himself to be chayav. So yeah, so we're trying to figure out what is the status of this kusi. Well said. V'afilu kusi. That's what the chiddush of a kol shoftin, right? Give it to him a little, and if he eats, achlo muter lecho mishchitazo, lo achlo, if he doesn't eat, asher lecho mishchitazo. Chutz michereshot v'katan, except for chereshot v'katan. Ta'afilu di eved namilo. That even b'di eved, it's also not mutter to eat from the shchita. Why not? From the chereshot v'katan, from the deaf, retarded kid. And by the way, there were commas there, if you didn't erase them. Shema Yishu, maybe they'll do Shehiyah. Shema Yidusu, maybe they'll do Teresa. Shema Yachlidu, maybe they'll do Chalida. They'll do some of those Psul, and they don't know how to, they don't have Das. We've seen that come up, Das. Need to have Das. Maybe the reason women shouldn't is because they're Kal Das. Did the guy from the 10 tribes, did he quote the Gemara and say Nashim to Kal Das, or did he say, Nashim don't shech, they have kaldas, and we're like, oh, yo, Taka, we have a Gemara that says that. Like, oh, it's Mesorah from a long time ago.
Holy rain moly.
Holy rain moly. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. Okay. We brought all the Svarim in though, right? We did our best? Okay. The Kulan Sheshachtu Ahaya. I think I all the Svarim, but I might have forgotten one or two, so maybe she'll give us the Shmaya. The Kulan Sheshachtu Ahaya.
The birds are like flying over you.
Hashem protect. The Kulan Sheshachtu, and everyone that shechted on which Ilay Machereshot V'Katan, if you're going to say it's talking about a Chereshot V'Katan, Alakai. That's what it's talking about. V'im Shachatu. That's talking about, and if they shechted me by like, right? It would need to say v'im shachatu like we saw by Abaye. Ella kusi, rather it's talking about shkuti. Wait, that can't be the pshat. Ella hot afilu yotzev and nechnas shochel lechatchila. There, according to Rava, yotzev and nechnas shochel lechatchila kasha, right? Abaye ended that if he as a Yisrael. Umid al gabav lechatchila, it's kosher, and so we said kasha. And then Rava is like, oh, but you could do it even Yosef and Nechnas lechatchila, good, but we still have that same kasha on you, even Yosef Nechnas lechatchila. So what would our Mishnah need to teach me that the kusi is kosher b'diavad, and Yosef and Nechnas even it's kosher. Okay, new pshat. Rav Ashi Amar Hachi Kitani. We know Rav Ashi. This is our fourth pshat. And Rav Ashi said is what it teaches. Now we remember Rav Ashi from the first page. Hakol shochta v'shchitasan keshera b'di'eved. Hakol shochta mashma l'chatchila v'shchitasan keshera b'di'eved. Mashma b'di'eved. Amar le Rav Acha bar Rava le Rav Ashi. Rav Acha asks Rav Ashi, V'kol hakol l'chatchila hu. And every hakol is lechatchila, and then we went into like all those different hakols, right? Different. Rav Ashi was like, okay, Heliga, Rav and Abaye, you guys said your pshat, they were good. Rabbi Bar Ula, I'm not even sure what generation he was from, probably like before Rav and Abaye, maybe. And like they're saying their pshats. Abaye is at the end. He's like he knows all of the pshats of his forefathers in the base medrash. Again, these are conversations that went over generations and discussions. And so Rashi is like, here's what it's saying. Good guess. It's a good guess because it's based on the Lashon. So Shkaya. Mummer is a Yisrael that is not keeping Torah. Now we have to see to what level can the guy shaykh it. Is it right? Is he makbid on avodah zarah not to do it? Makbid to keep Shabbos? Is he makbid Shemitz Beinayach? I mean, is a kusi Shemitz Beinayach? Is he a vegan? Well, vegan. Is he keeping a lot of mitzvahs? Is he keeping a little mitzvahs? Is he off completely the derech? If he's off completely the derech, but what? He's like, okay, but maybe we can trust him to shecht, but he's completely not from. What level of krumkeit is this Yisrael mummer? Another big question. And if you guys notice, I don't want to get you guys like excited, but I kind of do. You know, if you notice, there's a dalid over here by the Shita of Rav Ashi. That just tells us, without knowing anything else, Rambam, Shulchan Aruch, the Chora, they bring the Shita of Rav Ashi, the Halacha.
That's the aim mishpat ner mitzvah.
Oh, they look at Mishpat Ner Mitzvah. Very good.
Who
So,
wrote the aim mishpat ner mitzvah?
I don't know. Eminem. Just kidding. Ein Mishpat Ner Mitzvah, but not Eminem. I'm a Halacha rabbi. Ve'afilu Yisrael Mumar Lemai. So, even Yisrael Mutter, if he's shech l'chatchila, if there's someone else watching him, you know, she does look a maybe that's the chiddush as Rav Ashi. Mumar lemai. That question that we were saying. What does he a mumar to? Lechol nevelos l'teyavon. He's not magbid. He goes sometimes and he goes to McDonald's. He doesn't understand he's probably eating human meat when he's eating there. He just thinks, I'm just going to eat some non-kosher.
A little cannibalism on the side.
Yeah, a little. He doesn't know about the cannibalism. So it calls Basin Avail. Okay, McDonald's is not a good example because it's straight up human meat there. So he says, I'm going to go to Burger King. Human meat also. I'm going to go to White Cat. No, okay, fine. He's going to his friend who's a shochet and a guy, right? A guy, and he doesn't do kosher shrita. And he goes over to his friend's house to do business sometimes. And he eats a hamburger from his house. Listen, he's not going to have a cheeseburger. He's going to say, no, thank you on the cheese, but okay, fine. I'll eat an avela. I'm hungry. Then the guy says, you want to go to McDonald's? He's like, I can't go to McDonald's. That's human meat. I'm mummer to eat nevelas over here. Not a mummer to eat basar adam, basar mahal chishtayim. That's the chiddush. He's a mummer to eat non-kosher because he's hungry. Like they have on the kid to Rava. And like Rava says, to Amar Rava, because Rava says, Yisrael mummer ochel nevelos l'teyavon. A Yisrael mummer, that he's a mummer for this specific avera, right? It's from, but he goes to Tony's house and sometimes he has from the bad shchita. He doesn't, it's one thing, you know? Ochel nevelos l'teyavon. Bodek sachin v'nosein lo mutter. Meaning you have to check the sword, the knife, and give to him. We're on Gimel Amid Beis now. The nosein lo mutter lechol b'shchita, so to eat from his shchita. Aval lo badak v'nasan lo. But if we did not search and give him the knife, lo yishchadim, he shouldn't shecht. Shouldn't even shecht. Maybe even the b'diavad shouldn't shecht. V'im shacha, never shecht the b'diavad. What are you going to do? Bodek sachino acharav. You check the sword after him. Nimtze sakino yafeh. If you find that the knife is good, mutter lecho mishchita, so you can eat from mishchita. V'im lav, and if not, aser lecho mishchita, so you can. It's aser, right? V'im lav, and if not, it's aser lecho mishchita. So you can't eat from mishchita, except chut micher shota v'katan, except for chashu. Because those, even b'di'evet namilo, even b'di'evet, you cannot eat their shchita. Shema yishu, maybe they will do shehiyah. Shema yidrisu, maybe they will do drisa, maybe they will push. Right? Shema yishu, maybe they will balk. Shema yidrisu, maybe they will push. Hello, kut. Shema yachlidu, maybe they will do chalada, which I'm not teaching yet, I'm not ready. The kulon sheshachatu ahaya. And so when the sweet Mishnah says, V'kula sheshachatu ahaya, who are they talking about? Elema, if you're going to say it's talking about a cheresh shota v'katan, talking about a cheresh shota and a katan, alokai, it's on them going, V'im shachatu b'bailei, right? Sorry, V'im shachatu b'bailei, they should say the lashon of V'im shachatu, this question that we kept on asking, and if they shechted, not telling me that the b'diavad should not shecht. And if they shecht, they'll say the kulan and all them that shechted. So it's not talking about Herenstein as an Ella a Yisrael mummer. Rather, it's talking about a Yisrael mummer. E de badak sachin v'nasan lo. So what is that? But if it's Yisrael mummer, if you searched Hulokut and Yisrael mummer, Ella Yisrael mummer. If we search the sword that was given and we gave it to him, made sure it was kosher sword, knife. We already said that you can shech l'chatchila. Ella delo badak, you didn't shech. Well, if you didn't shech, if we have the sword still around, the knife that he used, hashda, it's here. Either lazy, search him. Either lazy, if it's not here, Aaron Rowan also, my hobby. If other people were watching him, so what would that have improved? Maybe he used a bad knife. Answers the Gemara, Kashya. We have a question, even on this sheet.
Answers the Gemara question.
Answers the Gemara, Kasha. Answers the Gemara, sorry, but that case of Yisrael Mummer cannot be what the Mishnah is talking about.
Also, it seems to say over here, which would slug up what I was trying to say before by the Kusi, that like, oh, this is Yisrael, and you're going to give no sin law. So what's the function of no sin law over here? Because he's Yisrael, we know he eats nevelas. Right. So why would they be okay with accepting his shrita if they check his knife and they give him a little and he eats it? The guy doesn't care if he eats a kosher shrita or nevela.
Right, that's why you have to have the Yisrael Rowan also. You have to have the guy watching him. But also you have to have the guy, you have to give him the knife. Let's see Rashi.
He's saying b'diavad though, it's mutter now, you know?
Let's see it again. Let's see it again with Rashi.
Okay.
Rav Ashi Omer, Yisrael Mummer. We're not talking about Kusi right now. We're talking about Yisrael Mummer. That's the Chiddush. Rav Ashi disagrees with his predecessors. So Mummer Lamai, what's the Mummer for? So the Gemara says Mummer Lechol Nevelas, to eat Nevelas. Now there is a Gimel. If you see the Gimel over here, the Gimel takes us to the Tziyunim. It says B'ksas Ksav Yad. In some handwritten manuscripts of the Gemara, Nosaf Meshumad Lamai. They use the word Meshumad, like Shmad. Meshumad Lamai. Ilay Malo Ochel Nevelas. If they're going to say Ochel Nevelas Lahach is that he eats Nevelas to make Hashem angry. Avilu Diavad Namilo. Even b'diavad, a yid like that you can't be saibech on his shchita. A yid who eats the nevela because he wants to make Hashem angry. I'll show you Hashem, right? You tell me I can't eat nevela, watch. I'm gonna go to my friend's, I'm gonna go to his friend's house and have a hamburger. Aval, says the Ksav Yad, Ella, Meshumad, it's talking about a mummer, le'echol, nevelos l'te'avon. He's eating because he's hungry. He's eating the non-kosher meat because he's hungry. You know? A lot of times in the Jewish community, in the Stark Yeshivish community, everyone who's not keeping Torah is in the same boat. But the Gemara sees is that there's nuances here. Wow. We have to treat everyone to understand, where is it coming from?
Right.
You know?
Right.
Big inyan and big secrets in this Gemara. So Rashi says, the te'avon, he's eating the te'avon. He says, Kilo mishchachas heter achil nevelas. We're not going to find someone who permits you to eat nevelas. And as long as we gave him the knife, then the suna biyado, and it's put in his hand, shachit shapir. And listen, this guy, we know he's a good shaykh. We saw him, 4 people already saw him do good shchita. The kol kama dematzi lemechal hetera lo achil isura. The Rashi tells us a big idea in this guy's brain. when this guy could find kosher food, he's not going to eat treif food. Sometimes maybe when he's on trips, he'll eat some non-kosher, you know? Oh, thank you, Rabbi. But kol heicha, now I can scratch my head. So there's the yeshiva's thing that they don't scratch the top of their head every time I was using the hat. Kippah. That's why we wear a kippah, so we can scratch our head and be super machmir on that minhag of not touching your head. Okay, minhag, question mark? Delo lemechal etera. So when he has the option to eat kosher, he's not going to eat treif. Not like the kusi, who he said this kusi, he doesn't care about giving the Yisrael treif. This is the yid. Okay, he has taiva. Sometimes he eats non-kosher out. You know, but if he has the opportunity to eat heter, he's going to eat heter. V'chi ein sagin paduk lo tarach lahadurei basar sagin yafeh imzu peguma. But if the knife is not searched, so he's not going to bother to go look for a good knife. You know, he has no problem. We give him the knife, he'll do a kosher shechita. But just to like step up, it's not. He's not going to be like, well, let me check the knife real quick, you know. He's still a mummer with the elbow over here. So if he did do the shechita, then we check his sword, check his knife. Nimtzei sachin oyaf, and we find that the sachin is good. Mutter, v'hainu b'diavad, mutter b'diavad, and that's the mutter b'diavad that's coming out of our Mishnah. Kosher shochtin, shechita's a kashera. If someone's watching them, even a mummer lechol nevelos. That's the b'diavad of our Mishnah. Chutz, of course, or actually maybe hakol shochte the chatzchila v'shchita kashera. That's the b'diavad of our Mishnah. We learned so kashera even a mummer l'teavon chutz micher shota v'kata de'afilu nimtzei sachin yafeh. Even if you find that they have a good knife, lo shchita's kash is pasul b'chatzchila and b'diavad. It's treif. Tika kilkula achrina, because there are other things that we have to worry about. Shehia, drasa, chalada. The loyadil is dahure bahu. You don't know how to be careful with them. V'davka ochel l'te'avon, and specifically that he's eating the treif because he's hungry. He likes it. Aval lahachis afilu nimtzeis sakino yafeh. But if he's doing it lahachis, trying to anger God. So even if you find a good shechita, no, low. Demua l'nava b'kavana b'yadayim, because if he's trying to make Hashem angry, he's like, yo, I'm going to make everyone, all my friends also, you know, eat non-kosher. And so then, like, don't even trust this guy.
Right.
If he's lahachis, don't trust this shechita. If he's mua l'navel b'kavana b'yadayim.
Can I clarify something?
Yeah.
I just realized?
Yes.
So this whole time, what we're saying is, after the shechita is done, you're able to check to see if it was a kosher shechita. So even if this guy is Yisrael who eats nevelas when he's hungry, right, and not to anger Hashem, so he does a shechita. So all you have to do is check the knife, because it's like, oh, if the knife was kosher for shechita, and we see that the kasha and the venet or kana and the venet, whatever it's called, are cut properly, so it's kosher shechita. We don't have to be worried about like all the other stuff. You check the other things, the yidrasa, yisio, whatever. Kind of the veshe. Oh, it's kosher shechita. Oh, this guy did it. He knows he eats in the veil. He doesn't do it to anger Hashem. Kosher shechita.
As long as we gave him the knife. We gave him the knife.
We have to give him the knife.
We have to give him the knife because we can't be samech on him that he's going to check the knife himself.
Got it. Where
So,
does it say that we gave him the knife?
It says, bodek sachin v'nosein lo. Bodek sachin, we check the knife and nosein lo and we give it to him.
Oh, I thought that was saying we check the knife and we give him to taste from, like we said over here.
No. But no, bodek sachin, we give him the knife. V'nosein lo muter lechol mishchitazo.
Got it.
Aval lo ba'adak v'nosein lo lo. What if he did the shchita anyway? So bodek sachino. Check the knife after him, and you see the shechita is yafeh, it's good, you can eat from a shechita. And if not, you can't eat from a shechita. That's what Rav Ashi says. Except for chereshot v'kadam, because then maybe they'll do shehiyah, drasa, and chalada. So then, wait a second. If you, Rav Ashi, are telling me that the b'diavad part of our Mishnah of sheitazan keshera is talking about b'diavad a mummer lechol to eat treif. So then, who is the next part of the Mishnah going on? Bechulan. It can't be going on Chereshot to the Katan, then it would have to say, Im Shachatu, if they shechted. It can't be talking about the mummer, because the mummer, we said that he could shech, that it said that he could shech, wait. So what a chiddush Rashi says over here, according to Rashi, the mummer, as long as we give him the knife, the good knife, we can trust his shchita. Because the only thing, like if he doesn't buy the good knife, he's going to be too lazy to get a good knife, and he's going to use the knife that's nicked. And so we give him a good knife, we trust it. He's going to rather eat kosher than treif over here. So lechatchila he could eat. So that who is the kulon sheshachtu and needing people over, watching them over kasha? That's the question, right? Why do we need other people watching? Like if you start checking the knife, and if there's not other people watching, so then who cares, right? Or who cares that other people watching? Maybe he was using a sakin paguma if we didn't give him the knife. So it's a kasha on Rav Ashi. Now we get to Ravina. Now we're in the 7th generation. Ravina and Bar Rav Ashi. In the 7th generation, okay? So Ravina and Rav Ashi are like the guys who finished. So Ravina says, Hachi Kitani. This is what the Mishnah is saying. Hakol shocht, that everyone can check. Hakol mumchin shochtin. Mumchin. Ve'avabi she'ein muchzakin. So what is the Mishnah saying? That everyone can shecht, everyone who is a mumchin and shechts, shochtin mumchin, ve'avabi she'ein muchzakin. All of the mumchin are shteig, are mumchin, and even if they're not muchzak, like we don't know that they're mumchin, so that means medvar murim, sheyodim bo, sheyodei lomar hilchos shchita, meaning we ask him, we give him a little fahert, and he knows how to say hilchos shchita. Aval ein yodim bo, but if we don't know him, if we don't know if he's like to do a good shchita, not a good shchita, sheyodei lomar hilchos shchita, then he knows to talk about hilchos shchita, the din in the sugyas, lo yishchot, you shouldn't shech. Lo yishchot ve'im shachat bodkin also. And if you do the shchita, we search him, bodkin also. Im yodei lomar hilchos shchita muter lechol mishchita. So if he knows how to say the halachas of shchita, it's muter to eat from his shchita. Ve'im lav. But if he doesn't know hilchos shchita, asur lechol mishchita. So
this is the case of a mumchin?
Yeah, no, some guy who shechts, and we're checking him.
Okay.
So if he knows, talk about hilchos shchita, and not towards asur lechol mishchita, so chutz, except for a chereshot of the katan, even if they know how to talk in the sugya, the katan, right? Afilu b'di eved nami lo, shema yishu, maybe they'll do shehiyah, shema yidrusu, maybe they'll do draza, shema yachlidu, maybe they'll do chalada. The kulon sheshachatu, okay, so now, according to you, sweet Ravina, when the Mishnah says kulon sheshachatu, that they all, when they shech, ahaya, on what's it going on? If you're going to say it's going on a chereshot to the katan, it's going on the chereshot to the katan, ve'im shachatu b'bala, you would have to say, and if they shechted, ela ashe'ein mumchin bebodkin, it's talking about people that are not mumchin, that did shchita, bebodkin also sagi. Is it enough to just check them with if they know hilchos shchita? The leisei come out, or if they're not in front of us, the live decay. That we should search it. That's the chiddush according to Ravina. V'ika de'amri, and there's another opinion, 2 opinions in Ravina. Baruch Hashem, man down.
Didn't we just say what the first opinion was?
Yes. So the first opinion in Rav Ashi.
No, Ravina.
Sorry, the first opinion in Ravina, Shkayach. The first opinion in Ravina is something about Mumchin. We're going to see it in Rashi and go through it and figure out exactly what he's talking about. But there's another Ikad Amri. That Ravina says like this. Amar Hachi Kitani. Hakol Shochtin, everyone shecht. Hakol Muchzakin Shochtin. Everyone is Muchzak. Everyone around Shchita maybe is Muchzak that they're Sheichtin. Ababi Shein Mumchin, even if they're not experts. What's this thing talking about? He talked about Dalet Vehei Pamim. But the Gemara says he shaked it before us. Pays V'Gimel Pamim 2 and 3 times. The loan is Aleph. He didn't pass out. Now David Cable, I don't want you passing out when we're doing Shchita.
It's a test, huh? You
Yeah.
do like 4 times or something?
2 or 3, it says the Gemara and not pass out. Aval lo shachal lebanenu beis v'gemel ba'avim. But if he didn't shech before us 2-3 times, lo yishcho, don't shech, shema yisalei, maybe he's going to pass out. The im shachat. And if he shechted va'amar bari li shalom nisalafti, I'm sure I did not faint. Shchita so kasherish, shchita is kosher. Chutz, except Micheresh shota the katan. From a cheresh, a shota and a katan. The afilu the eved namilo. Because even bid the eved also know. Shema yeshu, maybe they'll do shehiyah. Shema yidrusu, maybe they'll do dorasa. Shema yachlidu, maybe they'll do chalada. V'kulan sheshachtu ahaya. Also, when the Gemara says, the Mishnah says, v'kulan sheshachtu, and all of them that shechted ahaya, what's it going on? Ilema acher shota v'katan. If you say it's going on acher shota v'katan, alakoi. We're talking about them. V'im shachtu, not v'kulam. So you'd have to say, and if they shechted, that's what you need to say. Ella ashe'ein muchzakim. Rather, it's talking about akashe'ein muchzakin. It's talking about people that are not muchzak. The ha'amar, the bari li sagi. But wait, didn't you say that if you said, I'm sure that I won't faint, it's enough? The leisei kavan l'shayle. That, no, he's not in front of us to ask him. Tomorrow, Amir Tisha, we're going to go continue on in this Gemara from Ravina and Rav Bar Ula, that they go like Abaye, and Rava and Rav Ashi, they don't say it like Abaye for certain reasons. Then we're going to go further in the Gemara tomorrow. Today, we're going to see more. We're going to finish these Rashis and see where we're going to go from there. What's the Dishmaya? Okay. So we say live the Gehash. No, wait, why do we do other? Okay, do they might have Hello, Badku Asaki. No, say okay, so we're going back to Ravina Amar Hachi Gitari. Ravina says, here's what it says in the Mishnah. We saw Rabba Bar Ula. We saw Abaye. We saw Rava. We saw Ravina. This is the Ravina. We're going to see it with Rashi now. He says, Hachi Gitari. Akol Shochtin. Akol Mumchin Shochtin. What does that mean? Yodin Hilchos Shchita. Everyone who knows the halachas of Shchita, they can shecht. Aval ein yodin bo. But if we don't know, if he doesn't know the halachas of Shchita, over here, lo yeshcho can't shecht. But medvar lo yeshcho the im shachar if we shecht, we check him. Both can also, we check the guy. Im yodea lo mar hilchos shchita. We check the guy if he knows how to say hilchos shchita. Mater lechol mishchita. The im lav, but if it's not mater, if he doesn't know, so it's other to eat from his shchita. That's from Ezra Amurim, the chashivi mumchin, that they're called mumchin. Sheyodim bo. Ella shemosrin lo behema lishcho makirim bo v'badkuhu sheyodea hilchos shchita. They checked him. Even b'di eved, no. Perhaps they will do shehiyah, perhaps they will do drasa, perhaps they will do chalada. V'kulan sheshachtu, and all of them that they did shchita. And then we would be talking about a chershot v'kata. No, then we need to say be'im shachtu. Ella, it's on the ones that are not mumchin. If we check them to see if they know, we were talking about when they're not in front of us, right? Elu hamosrim lo behema lishcho makirim bo v'badku. They check the eved the yodin el shchita lo. That's talking about the Cher shows the Katan, that even if they know the laws, the Yodin Hilchos Shchita, the Tamid aim Muchzakim Lekalka, because they already have a different Chazaka, that they're going to mess stuff up when they shach. She'aim Bahem Das. So this is an important sugya in Das, they don't have Das, so Das is the Indian. Ikad Amri, the other pshat in Ravina, is that what they're talking about? They're talking about Ababi She'ed, Muzakin, right? They're talking about Muzakin. We know that they're good. Shira'inu Sheshachah Kavapam, and we saw them shecht a few times. Yav, and they shechted well. Velo Kilkulu, and they did not make Kalkel. Ababi She'ein Mumchin, even though they are not Mumchin. Here's the Ikad Amri over here. The Ikad Amri, Akol Bechezgaz, Akol Muchzakin, Shoftim Muchzakin, Abavi She'ei Mumchen. Says Rashi, Muchzakin, Sherainu Sheshacha, we saw, even though they're not Mumchen, the Lo Yad Inon Behu Sheyodim. We're not 100% sure that they're Mumchen. To say, they talk about Hilchos Shchita. We've seen them shech before, but we don't know that they're mumchin. Maybe they're going to do shiur, but if they did shita, who's it going about? You can't say it's talking about cheshot zakatan, then you would need to say the im shachatu. Ella ashe'im muchzakin. But if they're not muchzak, they're the sheichtim that are not muchzak. The Amar Gebarili Sagi, the lazy come out. He said it's good if they're in front of us to ask, that they're not in front of us, to ask even. Nidalef, Lashon Ayefos, to get tired. The Chalishos Alev, and weakness of the heart. Shein Yachol Liros Makas Cherev, they can't see the blood. The Sakin and the knife. Afilu Bebehema Kamo, even with an animal. Like Tidalefna Bechalonos, like this pasuk in Amos. Okay, so those are the opinions in the Gemara, and that's with Rashi. Shkoyach, everyone. We're going to see more about. So remember that these are these different opinions. If you could do Chazara, but obviously no pressure. I want to see
no pressure against the esophagus.
No pressure against the esophagus. I want to see Rashi. I want to see the Rambam.
What's Mumchin?
Mumchin's experts. Yidrasu is to push. Okay, now.
Any cut without pushing, without any pressure. Like impossible. It's got to be pressure.
Okay, so I want to see the Rambam. Here, if you want to see this in the Rambam? Yeah. I'm going to see it over here. So we're in the Rambam. So the English man their mitzvah.
That Gimel that we saw?
Yeah, that we saw by the Dalid, by Rav Ashi. The Yisrael Mummer. And the Gimel is Eid HaShober, it's about Kashrus. But I wanted to see the Dalid in Hilchos Shchita. Dalid Yud Dalid.
So this reminds me of, we talked about preparing the menorah, that is where the extra care applies, and anybody can light it. Well, the extra care applies here in sharpening the blade, and anybody can check.
Got it?
Yeah.
All right. You want to read it? Yudalid. Yudalid.
Dalet halacha Yud Dalet.
Yeah, Hilchos Shchita.
Yeah, it's Chashochet tzarich litain afar lemata ve'acher kach yishchot bo ve'acher kach yichasa be'afar aval lo yishchot bichli bichli vayichasa be'afar.
Okay, translate. It's Yud Dalid. Dalid, you say?
I think so, unless I'm reading it wrong. Oh yeah, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Hold on.
Okay, I
Perek
thought-
Yud Daled.
Perek Yud Daled, yeah.
I have it here. Perek Daled, Yud Daled. Here. Yisrael Mumar. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's
Yisrael Mumar Lavera. Min Haveros. Shehaya Mumche. Harei Zeh Shochet Lechatchila. So Yisrael, who is Mumar, meaning like he
Oh no, it's Daled. Yeah, Daled Yudal. Yeah, okay.
Daled
We're
Yudal.
trying to find it.
Yisrael Mumar Lavera. So someone that is Mina Avera, someone that is like he does some Averas.
Yeah, Rambam says Mama from Averas.
Shahaya Mumcha, that he was an expert. Harei Zeh Shochet Lechatchila. He could be a Shochet Lechatchila.
Wow.
The Tzarech Yisrael Kasher Livdog as a Sachin. We need a kosher Yisrael who's Torah observant or mitzvah observant to check his knife. Ya'achar kach yitnana l'momar zeh lishchot. And afterwards, after he checks the knife, he gives it to this Yisrael momar, and he can, in order to check. Ba mipnei shechaz kaso she'eno toirach livdoi. Toreach.
Yeah. What does that mean? Translate?
If it comes because that his own strength is not because of his own strength. I don't know. I'm gonna black on what that is.
The chazaka of this Yisrael Mumar is it's a chazaka that he's not going to bother to check the knife. You know?
Oh, okay.
She'ena Torah livdog. The im haya mishumad le'avodah zara. Right? Is this by you Mumar? It says by me mishumad. Interesting gears over here. The im haya mishumad le'avodah zara o mechal Shabbos b'varhesia. So those are the two inyanim. Mishumad le'avodah zara or mechal Shabbos b'varhesia in public. O min, right? Or if he is a min, which I think.
I have a different gear.
What do you use with your gersa?
Oh, apikores.
Oh, apikores. Okay, so we got to go into the sugya. What is a min? What is an apikores? Basically, anyone who votes. JK. But it's someone who doesn't believe in Torah min Hashamayim, or he doesn't believe in the Kiyum of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So, or a min. Who kover b'torah is Moshe? Oh, he's kover b'torah is Moshe. Can Moshe be'ernu b'hilchos tshuva? He's kover b'torah uve Moshe Rabbeinu. He's kover b'torah, so how could he shecht? And he's kover Moshe Rabbeinu, like we said in Hilchos Tshuva. Harehu kegoy. He is like a goy, and shchitazo is nevela, and his shchita is nevela, is not kosher. I have my kiggity. Okay, shkayach. So we saw the Rambam. There's another Rambam. You wanted to see shleigs?
No.
In Gimel, in Yud Gimel Dalid, about.
No, you want to say it.
I'll see it. Yeah, Edam Meshumar Tzarech Liyos Yoshev. Edam Meshumar. The shomer doesn't have to be sitting and watching. That's in Hilchos Malachas Asuros. That's in. And that's already into the halachas of being a watchman, of being a shomer. We could go into the sugya of being a shomer. We could go into the sugya of being a watchman. I'm down to see that Rambam, I guess. In Perek Gimel, if you want to go, you see it? Perek Gimel Hilchos Meichlas Asuros, Halacha Daled. Meichlas Asuros is right before. Here, if anyone wants to look it up in their phone also, Gimel Hilchos Meichlos Hasuros Halacha Daled. Yeah, I read it.
Yeah. Af al pi shechalev adam mutar isu chachamim legadol liana also min hashedim
Shadayim.
Ela cholava isha lesoich hakli v'shoiter.
Wow, Schlegs, what a Gemara. Even though woman's milk is mutter, says Shlomo, says Rashi, I'm just joking. It's also the Chachamim for a gadol, for someone who's pet bar mitzvah, to drink it from the source. Shalom Aleichem, Rabbi. We just learned the Rambam, a wild Rambam. Shalom. So we're learning about, but how is that the Rambam that was Shaykh? We just saw a crazy Rambam. It can't be the Rambam that's Shaykh. But it says over here, Halacha Yud Gimel, Halacha Dalid. That's Beis Yud Dalid. Okay.
What's the Rambam saying?
What's the Rambam saying? That even though it's mutter to drink milk from a woman, a gadol cannot drink it directly from the source. That's the Heilige Rambam. Now we're like, wait a second, is that the right Rambam? Because that's not exactly what we learned in shiur. So we say, Ma'amanadi Sham, Perek Yud Gimel Halacha Daled. We go to Meichlos Asuros, Yud Gimel Halacha Daled. כן, לגדול אסור, אבל זה לא הלכה שרצינו להביא, זה יוד דלת, הלכה, יוד גימל הלכה דלת. יוד גימל הלכה דלת. אפילו, you want to read it?
That was a bonus halacha we got.
אפילו כתב הגוי לישראל, שנזכר ממנו המעוז למכור לו בהם יין. So we're talking about the rimbo al inyane hashgacha v'kashrut v'nichnas v'yotzei
With the Yain Nesach?
with the ayin nesach. I'm saying maybe it also has to do with kashrut, right? So we see this rabbi that says even if the guy wrote to the Yisrael and his kabel imenu hamaos limkor lo b'hem yayin, selling him the wine. Hoel ve'ena Yisraeli yakol lehotzio mirishus hagoy ad she'itin lo hamaos. The yid doesn't really have access to it until he gives him the mouse. Harehu shel goy the aser. The wine belongs to a goy and is not kosher. It's aser. Ela im haya shomer darsham bechatzer. This is why it's relevant to our case. Me and Shteig were like, is the wrong rabbi again? No. If the yid was living, this is a shomer kavua mamish. It says that the yid, the shomer, was living with darsham bechatzer. As long as he's living there, he doesn't have to be sitting there and watching at all times. Rather, come in and leave like we taught, like we clarified. Bein b'rishus habal, bein shelo b'rishus hagoy is aser.
So if I leave a goy in my house
Yeah.
for 10 minutes and I come back, it's not a problem.
Not a problem. Very good. You phrased it. If I left it, ha meiniach oved kochavim, right? But it doesn't say meiniach. It doesn't say do it lechatchila. It says ha meiniach. If they do it, so then it's kosher b'diavad. That's a Gemara in Avodah Zarah. But you said goy, and it's not clear if it's goy or all idolaters or akum, or is it a goy? Right? The Rambam talks about, the Gemara talks about mummer le'ochel trepos. The Rambam adds us mummer oved kochavim mechal Shabbos b'farhesia, and is kofer b'Toras Moshe. So those things are also pasal tshuva, pasal shchita, but kosher b'tshuva. You know, the hay is always pasuach l'kabel shavim.
Right.
They say, okay, so we see this Rambam over here, and we had to see it, talking about Nechnas B'Yotzei. There's one more Rambam that we want to see in Meichos Asuros, in Perek Yud Beis, Halacha Yud Zayin. We have one more Rambam to see. Now, I'm just using this Rambam. I give very slow over here, use the Rambam with the Mefarshim. If we need to go into it, that's also a possibility. But right now, we just want to see the Rambam. A lot of times, people are, I want to know the order right now. Seeing the Heilige Rambam in Hilchos Meichos Asuros. Shleigs, you there?
Yeah.
Perek Yud Beis, Halacha Yud Zayin. You want to read?
Sure. V'chein haminiach akum bechanuso. And also regarding the one who is, when it says haminiach akum, it's talking about an idolatrous miniach.
No, hameniach akum. You left an akum. You left an idolater.
Left an akum bechanuso in his store. Afal pi shehu yotzei v'nichnas kol hayom kulo yayin mutar. Even though he's coming and going all the day, all of the wine is permissible. The im odio. Shehu maflig, mipalig.
Maflig. He's like, I'm going for a long time.
Okay. So, and if he knows.
Remember we saw this sugya. We learned in the Avodah Zarah also.
Yeah.
Remember this? It's unbelievable.
Vishaha kidei.
Oh, Shaha, we see that for Shehiyah, the same letter. He waited.
V'yagu v'sinoiv hayayin aser b'shtiyah.
Right. You want to translate?
If he knows that he's going to be gone for a long time, Vishaha, what's that?
And he waited.
Kidei sheyiftach, in order that he will open the Yaguf, the Sinai, I don't know what those words are.
The Yigov.
Yigov.
The Yigov, the Sigov, you can open it and then take the wine out and close it and seal it again.
Hayayin Aser b'shtiyah.
In that case, it is Aser b'shtiyah.
Meaning if it was that length of time.
If he knows, but that's only if he told him I'm going for a long time.
That's why you do it unannounced.
Exactly. That's why you don't tell him how long you're going for.
Yeah.
And then even if you go and you go for a long
You
time.
just dip out.
I don't understand this word. You say afal pi is it should be kivan.
No, because better. Afal Pi is the Chiddush. Yotzev and Nichnas is the Chiddush. Best case scenario, you have Yisrael Dar over there. You got someone who's Yoshev U'Mishamer. Eidach Haredus, the Hashkachas that you two guys probably will only look at is Yoshev U'Mishamer. The levels of those Hashkachas. But, says the Rambam, even Yotzev and Nichnas, Kol Yom Kulo, is kosher. As long as you don't tell him, listen, I'm going on a boat, I'm going to be maflig for hours and hours. That's the Nakuda. That's why it says Afal Pi, because it's the Chiddush. Okay. Okay, very good. If you leave it in a car, or you leave it in a boat, on a train, very good. Karon on a karon.
The box of the train. What's that?
Yeah, the train box. The car.
The train has chronot.
Yeah.
Chronot is every.
And carriage. Very good. Im hagoyim, with the goyim, benichnas le'ir la'asos tzorcho v'yatza, hayayin mutter. Meaning he left it, he's on this train, or on a boat, right? And he goes into the city, and he leaves a bunch of goyim on the boat, or on the train with him. Yayin mutter. V'im hodiyan shehu maflig, he's like, yo, I'm going, like, off this boat. We're in the Bahamas, and I'm going to find that good kush, and I'll be gone for hours.
For
Days, you know? He's like, I don't even know what else they're going to be there. He said even days. I'm saying even hours, that's the Chiddush. I'm going for a long time. Yeah. But if he doesn't tell them, he's going to come back.
It's still there, but it's half wine, half water now.
Maybe they drank it. Maybe they were masich it to their idols. Maybe they use it for their avodah zarah. Maybe they were masich it. They spilled it out. Ve'im odian ve'kol advarim elu bechavios susumos. Wait on. But if he told them that I'm going to be gone for a while, and he left for the long enough time to open it and drink some and close it and seal it, and the wine was open for that amount of time, it's aser b'shtiyah. And all of these things is when the wine, v'chavuyos is susumos, aval b'petuchos, if it's open, apilu lo shah, even if you didn't wait, me'achar shahodia and maflik, the second he knows I'm going to be gone for a while, hayayin aser. So we see about hashgacha from our Gemara, we see how it related to what we learned about wine, about the hashgacha. It is the offering the attempted pshat of Abaye and Rava in the Gemara to try to explain that that's what it's talking about. It's talking about the type of Abaye and Rava is talking about a kusi sheshachat and Yisrael omed al gaban, and so we compared it to that case in Avodah Zarah of the akum touching it. Can we be saimeh? We say by then we have Rav Ashi who tries to say Yisrael mummer. And Yisrael, remember, it's not even enough to have the Yisrael. We don't even need a Yisrael that's watching Al Gaban, but we need to make sure that they give him a good knife. And then, because we can't be trusted that the Yisrael that's mummer to eat treifas is going to be tareach and go after a good knife. Tomorrow, Amir Hashem, we will have Siyata Tishmaya to go veiter. Now, shiur is going to the end. It would be great if we could have some ochel, if we have any leftover foods. Now, my dad said that he would help us with the thing. So hopefully, all together, we can figure it out.
It's not all together thing. It's really delegating tasks. I want you to learn from the yeshivas in Babylon how they function. They had a gizboard, and they had a guy who's in charge of the kitchen. The guy in charge of the kitchen is in charge of this.
Okay, so and I need help also delegating.
In life, we gotta pay to play. That's the thing. So I paid personally. I went to Shoshana, Erev Shabbat. I got a few of these dips, salad, They charge I paid $200 for the nothing quality, not subscription. If it's not Chef Salman and Shmuel making it, it's not really good, and their price is lower than everyone else's price. So today we can have some egg salad and peanut crackers.
Amen. As long as we're saying and steiging, we'll figure it out.
No. We really have a
Well,
budget.
we do have a budget, but I don't want fat motherfuckers taking advantage of me and trying to play hardball.
Well, then you have to find other humans.
I know.
To serve you.
I'm trying so hard. I'm really trying so
I
hard.
don't think it'll work out that as easy as you think.
I know. So then, let's not even do the food.
We're okay with that. We're here for the shteig.
Okay, great. Thank you for this.